So, dear students, I am Professor Tapan Pandit, and today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic in the field of psychology, which is known as Erikson psychosocial development theory. So, Erikson has given a very excellent theory of personality development, which is being acknowledged in different walks of life, especially in the domains of psychology. So, here is the quick introduction about this theory. So as I said, it is one of the most acknowledged theory of personality development. Why? Because as you are aware that in the field of psychology, personality development is a major concept on which not many scholars, not many researchers have given so much content. But Sigmund Freud and Erikson, these are two people who are mostly followed, and their theories are very impactful and very precise in nature. So Erikson's theory is definitely good one. Similar to Freud, Erikson has also proposed that personality develops in different stages of life. Dear students, Erikson's theory is also known as lifespan development theory. Why? Because it covers the whole lifespan of an individual in different stages. These stages starts from infancy, then early childhood, then middle childhood, then adolescence, then young adulthood, middle adulthood, and old age. So these are the different stages which Freud as well as Erikson both have proposed in their theories of personality development. You might have heard about Sigmund Freud's psychosexual developmental theory of personality. That is another wonderful theory, but there the focus of Freud was on sexual energy, that is the libido, and how this libido evolves in the course of time and how this impacts the personality development of an individual. But here, Erikson has proposed some different concept. He has not on the line of Freud, what Freud was saying, but he has taken a different approach for personality development, which we are going to see later in coming slides. But yes, like Freud, Erikson has also proposed that personality develops in different stages of life. That's why it is called developmental theory, stage development theory of personality. What Erikson is saying is that at every stage of development, an individual forms an ego identity. So, ego you have heard in Freud's theory also, but here what Erikson is saying that at every stage of development, an ego is being formed, that ego identity is being formed. Now, how does this ego identity is formed? That's what is coming next in his theory. So basically what is happening is from infancy to childhood to young adulthood to old age, an individual is encountered with different life challenges or situations. So Erikson used to use the word conflicts or crisis. So at every stage there is one crisis which has to be handled or which has to be dealt by an individual. Now if this crisis or this challenge is being dealt properly, then the ego identity will be formed, and we can say that an ego strength will be created. What does this mean? It simply means that if the crisis or the challenges at any given stage of development is properly resolved, is properly managed by the individual, then a healthy personality is developed. Right? There is one prominent activity and a virtue to be developed. Now, how these challenges are being recognized? What are the ways in which one can recognize? What are the challenges and crises which one individual faces? And how to deal with it? Right? So here Erikson has given for different 8 stages, he has given the 8 stages of development. And for all stages, he has mentioned one prominent activity which plays a significant role in personality development. Let's say for example infancy. So in infancy, feeding is the activity which is challenging. So if an infant is properly fed, then a healthy personality will, he will develop into a healthy personality. If the infant is improperly fed, then personality challenges will be there. So at every stage of life, at every stage of personality development, there is one prominent activity, and this prominent activity will decide if it is being properly done, it is being properly taken care of. Then this prominent activity will decide what virtue will be done. So Erikson has proposed that at every stage, one virtue will be done. And this virtue will add the ego strength to the ego identity. That is, this virtue will help an individual to grow as a healthy adult, as a healthy personality in future terms of time. Social environmental support plays a significant role in handling this crisis situation. Now that's why Erikson's theory is termed as psychosocial developmental theory of personality. Why psychosocial? Because the psychological development is dependent on which factor? The social factors, right? How the environment, the social environment surrounding that individual is playing a positive role or a negative role. Is the environment supportive or not supportive? If this, let's say, an individual is facing challenges in each and every stage of life, and in facing these challenges, he gets a proper social support. So, if he receives a proper social support, then his personality will develop into a strong one. Why? Because the crisis is being resolved and this crisis will be handled properly. How it has been handled properly? With the help of social support. That's why this is called social personality development theory. Right? Society, especially the nearby environment, plays a very significant role in the development of personality of an individual. Proper social support paves path for healthy personality development by helping the person strengthen the ego identity. As I said, proper social support will help to manage the crisis and get converted into a strong personality. On the contrary, if an individual, wherever, at whatever stage he has faced with certain crisis, he has faced with certain challenges, and he is not receiving that proper social support which he is looking for. So, if he has not received the proper social support, the family support, the support from the social environment around him, then definitely he will face multiple challenges in handling those crises and those challenges. And once these crises and challenges are not being resolved properly, the impact will be there in the healthy personality development. That means the personality will not develop in that much healthy way. Why? The reason is simple. There is a virtue to be achieved in every stage. Right? So if the virtue is not achieved, what are the virtues we are going to see in the next slide? So if these virtues are not achieved, you can understand very clearly that if person is missing those personality elements, then how can we call him or her a healthy personality? Right? So at every stage, it is very necessary to receive an adequate, a proper social support system to get converted into healthy personality. So here is the brief chart which is displaying all the 8 stages along with the basic conflict area. These are the areas of conflict or challenges which an individual faces on different stages. These are the virtues which are going to be achieved if the challenges are being handled properly with the help of social support available to that individual. And these are the description mentioned. So this is a brief chart. As you can see, the stages are infancy, 0 to 1 year, early childhood, 1 to 3 year, and play age, or we can say middle childhood, that is 3 to 6, school age, 7 to 11, adolescence, 12 to 18, early adulthood, 19 to 29, middle age, and then finally the old age. So these are basically the stages which is being proposed by Erikson in his theory. Now what are the conflicts? The first conflict is trust versus mistrust. What does this mean? What is this conflict? If the prominent activity, which is in this case is feeding, if this activity is handled properly with the social support, then the virtue and trust will be achieved. So this activity, this stage helps an individual either go for trust or to mistrust. Right? If he trusts his environment, he will definitely have that factor of trust in his life. Why? Because the virtue develops here is hope. So he will be hopeful. He will be having that hope in all his conduct, in all his aspects of life. But in case if he develops mistrust during the first stage, during the infancy, now see the beauty in the very tender age of infant. Can you imagine such a big trait of personality is getting developed in just that very tiny, very young age of infancy, right? Honestly, the toddlers at this age are not even able to walk properly up to the age of 1 year. But see, this is the beauty that a proper trait, a very important crucial trait is being developed during this stage. Similarly, there are multiple conflicts in different age stages given by Erikson. Second is autonomy versus shame and doubt, then initiative versus guilt, industry inferiority, identity confusion, intimacy isolation, generativity stagnation, and integrity versus despair. So, Today we are going to see two stages, the first two stages in detail. The first one is stage 1, in which the crisis or the challenge which an individual faces, that an infant faces, distress of person. Age 0 to 1, major event is feeding key person, mother and caregiver, virtue is good. Now how is this happening? So when the newborn enters into the world, the very basic need of that newborn is hunger, right? So he has to, that infant has to get fed properly, get the mother's milk properly on time. So what he does is he always keep on scanning the environment around her. And if the baby, if she saw a mother around her, then a sense of security is built. If the mother is prompt enough, if the mother is careful enough, fed the baby whenever the baby is feeling hungry. Like usually what babies do, whenever they feel hungry or insecure, they start crying. So if mother is attentive and mother is paying good attention on the baby and feeding the infant on time so that the hunger is satisfied, if this is the case of that infant, in this case, the virtue of hope will be developed. Why? Very simply, whenever the infant is in need, she knew that her mother or the caregivers are surrounding him and they will quickly come to help him, they will quickly come to feed him, they will quickly come to take care. Right? So infant develop virtue of hope. Right? Why? Because he is very much, he develops trust. Okay, if whenever I need anybody or whenever I need any support, I help him around me. So trust is developed. On the contrary, just imagine if the infant is hungry, the baby is hungry, and she is crying, but nobody is paying attention. The mother is busy in some work, or the caregivers are ignoring, and they are busy in their own like daily chores or daily tasks, whatever. So nobody is paying attention to the baby. In that case, what trait will get developed, what thought process will get developed in the baby's mind is that mistrust, right? The baby will find it very difficult to trust on others for his need. So when this infant who has not received proper care and proper support from the family environment, from the social environment, that is especially mother and caregiver, what will happen? This person will always have trust issues in the future. And hope will be something which is like very challenging for me. He will not have that much hope. He will not be very that much enthusiastic and hopeful for things, for events in upcoming life. What other person, other infant who has received proper care will become. Right? So this is the first stage. Coming to the second stage, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Now when the infant grows through the age of like between 1 to 3 years, then these traits or these particular characteristics are coming to the personality, that is autonomy versus shame and doubt. Now what does autonomy mean? The toddler, the young kid, the child should feel confident and comfortable to take small steps to do things by her own, right? And if the infant is not doing things by her own, and that may mean that the infant is having either doubt on himself or he is shameful to do the evil, right? Now, what Erikson has explained, how these things are getting developed at this age. So the major event here is toilet cleaning. As we all know that in the initial years of life, toddlers, the kids, they don't have control on their systems, their biological process, right? So the toilet training is very crucial. How? Like by default, it is very obvious that the kid, the infant, that he will not have that courtesy or understanding that he should go. In fact, he is not physically able also. So he cannot go to the toilet and do the toilet, right? But wherever he is sitting, if the toilet is coming, he will simply do it there only, isn't it? So here a very important aspect of psychosocial aspect is there, that how he has been treated by the parents or mother or caregiver. Let's say the child is there and mother is trying to teach the child that okay, whenever you want to go potty or whenever you want to go for like a toilet, you should ask to give some signal and tell the mother or caregiver that yes, I want to go there. And then once you reach the toilet or the washroom, there only you should do this thing. But let's say, of course, nobody learns so quickly. So if the toddler has done the toilet on the floor here, like in the common area, not in the washroom, what will happen? Two possibilities. First is the mother may scold the child. mother may shout, mother may scream that what you have done, why you have done, I told you not to do this here. If this type of reflection, if this type of feedback is being received by the mother, then the child, the kid may develop a sense of shamefulness in himself, isn't it? He will feel ashamed that okay, I have done something really wrong, that my mother is scolding me, the environment is not good, the people are shouting at me. That means he will feel shameful. But if very carefully, very properly, very lovingly, once, twice, thrice, multiple times, he has been properly toilet trained, then a sense of autonomy will come. Right? If the toddlers are being trained to control their natural calls up to a bit so that they can reach the proper place, that is the washroom, after informing the adult around in like in their vicinity, in their nearby. So once the child learns this thing that okay, if I have to do this, I can control my natural calls and I can ask some senior person and I will go to the washroom and do the thing. If a child learns this thing, proper toilet training is there, soft, affectionate, lovingly training is being given, then autonomy will be developed. Now, this type of child who has received the proper toilet training will get so much confidence in himself that he believes that okay, if I want to do something, I can do it. See, a very small, silly looking thing that is toilet training or toilet related issues are creating such a big impact on the personality of an individual. So, toilet training is a major event in this life, and how parent responds to the toilet need of a child will significantly impact the personality development. Say, the virtue, its virtue will be developed, will, the willingness, right? The will develop here. And this will then help this child, this toddler to do things, to achieve things, to go ahead in his life and do well. Right? So these are first two stages of Erikson. Upcoming, like there are multiple other stages which are remaining, which we are going to see in upcoming session. So thank you. I hope this first two stages are clear to you. It's really interesting theory. I want you to look into your surrounding, find out the small kids who are either at the age of infancy or at the age of early childhood, and just look at their behaviors and see by yourself, is breastfeeding or feeding or toilet training impacting their personality development or not. It will be fun if you try to observe this kind of thing. Thank you.